I blame YouTube. Yeah. Welcome to you, sir. Title. Why? Why do you do this? Why do you do this to me? And the importance of humour. And we often hear how people who have professions in which they have to deal with some really truly effed up situations keep a sort of dark sense of humour about them in order to get themselves through the day. And it's a very human response. And I guess someone from the outside who doesn't have to deal with that kind of stuff would look into it and go, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this stuff. And in a few cases where this has come out, people's discussions with each other, it's created quite quite rightly probably, a bit of a shock for people. Audio is a bit dodgy. Audio, okay. You've got salt water on the mic. Okay, well, I'll take them. Okay, is that better? Is that better? I can't believe my mic's not working properly. Right, better, worse, better. And we're back, wacka crackly crap. Much better. Oh, well, obviously my lavalier mic, my smart lav, has had the gong. Well, thanks, rude. It's very rude of them, or road, I don't know. I'm going to try and plug it in again. I'm just going to try and plug it in again and see if it works. And if it doesn't, because what will happen, you see, if I use the mic on the phone, every time I touch the phone to scroll up and down the messages, you'll hear it and you'll be like, stop touching the phone, Graham. Not that you talk like that, but hang on, 1 sec. Right. Okay, how is that? Is that okay? Just let me know. If it's gone back to crackly, I will take the mic off. I'll throw it in the sea I'll throw it in the sea. That'd be very irresponsible. Anyway, I was just talking about how, like, when people get caught out in this sort of macabre sense of humour, from an outside perspective, they can get into a lot of trouble about it. But I find it understandable. All good, great, yeah. It's properly set now, no crackles. I don't know what it was. Sounded like a dirty socket. Alf. Okay. That could be misinterpreted. Where's my cup of tea? Okay. Next question. Where's my cup of tea? Oh, here it is. Oh, Jesus. Thought I lost my cup of tea then. Yeah, I probably got dirt in my socket. Anyway, but I feel like in this particular situation that we're in now, and I was talking about it the other day, the fact that we've just, for the last 8 years, longer now, 9 years, almost 9 years it's been since the Brexit referendum was first mooted by the powers that be in the UK, and obviously they put it into their 2015 manifesto. The Tories had a simple in-out referendum. Simple, everything's simple when you're a Tory. And Donald Trump had entered politics to run for president in a serious way, capitalizing on the fact that most Republicans have lost their freaking minds. And so we've had 9 years of pretty much non-stop trauma, like every day waking up and going, oh God, what now? Every day waking up with this kind of like existential dread. What we want is for, every day to just be nice and normal and not worrying, we don't concerning things happening. And it's bad enough when it's concerning things happening in other places around the world. And there's a little bit of a degree of separation between you and, what's happening in Mali. Jack socket, that's even worse, isn't it? Oh, sorry, Alf, has it gone bad again? Hang on. Jack. Oh, okay, sorry, I thought you meant the sound had gone even worse. Donate to buy a bag of soil. I wish I could have bought more. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks. I would have put the link in the description, but it would have taken too long to faff around. So I've just started again. Nope, it's fine. Okay. Phew. So yeah, we've essentially gone from the Brexit votes Trump winning in 2016, and then all the trauma of Brexit and Trump being leader, and then straight in to COVID. Like, we were reeling from the fact that the baddies had won in December 2019. They now had a mandate for leaving the EU on the shittest possible terms for us and our country. Because Murdoch and the racists and the private school mafia all wanted it to happen. You know, whatever the billionaires want, just if you want to know what's going to happen in the next few years, suss out what the billionaires want, and it'll probably be that. The billionaires seem to want to wipe out all life on this planet. That's what they want to do in order to make more and more money, than they can possibly spend in several lifetimes, you know. And Ukraine, yeah. And then we left the EU. We didn't really even leave it. We took our flag down, didn't we? But we were still under EU rules at the end of January 2020, and then before the end of March 2020, we had gone into full lockdown with COVID, and then COVID sort of petered out as the vaccines became more available. And a lot fewer people were dying from it. Vulnerable people were shielded by the vaccine, not by people not going out anymore. And yeah, and then we got Liz, and Biden won the election, so great, you know, got rid of Trump, so there's one less stress. And then the Tories gave us bloody Liz Truss, you know, and we had all the Partygate stuff with Boris Johnson before that, and then we had Liz Truss, and it was just like, and then we had Rishi Sunak going on about sending people to Rwanda and doing all this shit when there's so much stuff to be fixed up. It's like, you know, that infuriating situation when it's the equivalent of the house being on fire, isn't it? And someone worrying about the position of a chair in the house that's on fire. And you're like, why? What? Who? What does it matter what the chair's doing? Just get out the house. Let's put some water on the house. Let's try and put this fire out. And so it's incredibly frustrating when there's so much stuff to be done in the UK and the US and around the world that we've had these people in charge who have no interest in doing that. All they want to do is this culture war bullshit. This culture, they are the culture war warriors. They are the culture war people. They are the people who go on about the culture wars all the time. The rest of us don't. The rest of us just want to get on with our lives, whoever we are. You know, we're not fighting a fucking war. We're not like making this the central plank of our political agenda or political manifesto. Oh, we've got to fight a war. We've got to fight a war. We do with people being woke. Like, no, we need to fix the fucking roads. We need to fix the bridges. We need to fix education. We need to fix health. We need to fix situations around the world so people in Ukraine aren't being bombed by the Russians and people in Gaza aren't being bombed by the Israelis. Like, this stuff needs to be sorted. What are you talking about? People being woke? Who gives a shit? Who gives an absolute rat's ass monkey's butt? Who cares what people want to do with their own bodies as long as they're not hurting anyone else? Who cares what they want to call themselves? If it doesn't hurt anyone else, who cares? What does it matter? What does it matter? People being gay doesn't make you gay. You know, people fancying men doesn't make you fancy men. Like, what, do you think that if you hang around with women who fancy men because they're heterosexual too long, you'll start fancying men as well? No, because that's not how it works. It's not how it works in school. You don't go into school and go, oh, my friend's trans, so I'm going to become trans too. You know, and they talk about it like it's a fad. And I'm like, what? That's the same shit they used to talk about when it came to sexuality back in the 80s. Oh, you know, it's just a fad. Oh, it's just a fad. It's just a phase. It was always a phase, wasn't it? It's a phase you're going through. But yeah, we got that. We got Liz Truss. We got the Rishi Sunak. And then we got this 1 week. 1 week, that's all we got in the last 9 years. 1 freaking week. When Labour had just won in the UK and they'd already said, we're going to get rid of this Tory ban on wind farms. Immediately, we're going to drop the Rwanda bullshit. Immediately, it's like, oh, thank God. Thank goodness. Oh, someone sensible in charge. And we had a week of, well, I had a week. I don't know how it was for you, but a week where I was a bit hungover, but I wasn't stressed. You know, wasn't waking up with this existential dread. A week, that's all I got. And then we had that debate with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And I was like, oh, for God's sake, Seriously? Because at that point, I thought Trump's going to win this. And then someone tried to take a shot at him, and there was that picture of him with his fist in the air and blood on his face. I thought he's going to win this. And yeah, and thinking about all the possible permutations of what he will be able to do, and I stand by what I said yesterday, he can kill Taylor Swift. He can have Taylor Swift murdered with impunity. You know, like Joss Ackland in Lethal Weapon 2, diplomatic immunity. Yeah, chaos is great if you like short selling and pump dump crypto scams. The people are just something to be played. They are. Please don't fall for crypto scams. So wait, my friend group didn't make me gay, ace, and trans. No, Gallifrey Ray. It turns out not. It's not like smoking. Why do you smoke? Because my friend smoked. Why are you gay? Because all my friends were gay, and I thought it'd be fun to join in. I mean, the thing is as well, like it's all a spectrum. It's all a spectrum of sexuality. I think there's an XY axis, isn't there? Because there's it's a plus sign, big plus axis. I don't know what it's called in statistics, but essentially you have 0, which is incredibly heterosexual, and 7, which is incredibly homosexual, or vice versa, exclusively, I should say. And then on the other scale, you have your sort of sexual desires. So you have your how much you want to have sex, right down to asexual. And people can be anywhere on that scale, anywhere. And do you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just like, who cares? What's it got to do with me? You know, who? Do you go round to people who have a partner and you say, hey, I don't think your partner's attractive? And they're like, okay, yeah, I wouldn't want to have sex with your partner. Okay, I don't know why you're telling me this, but fine. Well, I just want you to know it's really important for me to explain that to you, that I don't fancy your partner. Okay, all right. Would you do that? Would you? No. Why do you do it about gay people? Why would you say, well, I wouldn't do that? Whoa. It's just weird. It's just weird. But unfortunately, one of the things that was keeping me afloat, apart from, dark sense of humor about it all, making jokes, having a laugh. I think this is why people like John Oliver are so important, and Jon Stewart, because they make us laugh. They make us laugh. They're very, very funny. But they talk about serious topics. But one of the other things that was keeping me going was the fact that young people in this country were so anti-Tory. The Generation Alpha, Gen Z, or Gen Z, as we like to call it in the UK, and the millennials, very, very overwhelmingly left wing. In fact, the millennials getting more left wing as they got older. And that really buoyed me up. That really gave me hope for the future, because I was like, well, I know they hate me saying this, but what the boomers tend to be a bit conservative, don't they? And there's a lot of them. So that's a bit of a problem for democracy. Democracy is an empty lie, as the Mannix once sang. Anyway, but what's kind of upsetting me now is looking at the demographics, looking at the polling results in the rest of Europe and in America. Young people are turning into boomers. There's a lot of boomery young people. And it's all tied in with that incel culture. That whole thing of like, oh, I can't get a shag, so I'm going to go out and murder women. That whole culture that snares young men in is very, very dangerous. And this is something that I wanted to talk about this morning, because I think that we are missing a trick when we don't take the concerns of young men, not talking about incels here, right? But the concerns of young men into consideration, especially when they are particularly susceptible to mental health problems. The biggest killer of young men is suicide, right? And one thing that men absolutely love, and women love it as well, but in particular young men, they like comedy. They like comedy, and one of the reasons why the right is so desperate to tap in to that whole comedy side of things is because they're so bad at it. They're just bloody awful at it. There's a few funny right-wing people. You probably count them on one hand. Like, seriously, most of them are not funny in any way, shape, or form. I don't like Jeremy Clarkson. I hate him. He's a gobshite. He's not a very nice man, but he is. But I can see why people find him funny. You know, I can see why the setups they do on Top Gear and The Great Escape or whatever it's called on Amazon. I can see why people find him funny. People find Trump funny, although you've never seen Trump laugh because he's a psychopath. People do find him funny. And I think that humour goes a long way. Boris Johnson, people found him funny. People didn't find Liz Truss funny. That's why Liz Truss didn't last for 2 months in office. America's just elected their Liz Truss. And he's going to be in charge for the next 4 years, probably longer, actually. Yeah. I think that humor is quite possibly one of our most important weapons in our armory. I think that when it seemed like Tim Walz and Kamala Harris were breaking through was when they were talking about how weird Trump is and how weird JD Vance is. That gave me a little bit of optimism. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. But I do feel like tapping into that humor and getting more people doing funny shit with a little bit of comedy, with a little bit of politics in there, thrown in is really, really important. So what I want to see is people who can connect with young people and them to be on YouTube, on TikTok, and other social media sites, right? Creating engaging content, not necessarily about politics, okay? Movie reviews, sports, talking about the footy, talking about video games, talking about other stuff, but being politically savvy enough and smart enough and funny enough, right, to be able to throw in these really great points about why, you know, we should vote left wing, why we should vote for progressive things. At the end of the show, you know, just pepper it in there. You never saw Jeremy Clarkson in an episode of Top Gear literally doing a monologue about politics. You never saw that, but you always saw him doing his little digs, his little. We also need someone who's a really great interviewer on the left to do a podcast show that brings in different guests each week. We don't really have one. A lot of the left-wing content that I see is kind of preaching to the choir. It's a little bit in its own bubble. And I would like to see someone who isn't Joe Rogan doing something along the same lines, but where they get on people who might be a little bit, you know, a little bit different, a little bit unique, along with people who know what they're talking about. But we don't really have that on the left. And to go back to something I was discussing earlier in the week, one of the problems is we don't have a concerted effort like an ecosystem. Well, we do have an ecosystem of content creators, left-wing content creators in the US. You got the Young Turks, and over here, you got like the Movement Forward, where we all sort of talk to each other and exchange messages and let each other know what's happening. But over here, at least, it's not joined up. Like there isn't there isn't a think tank that pays us a wage with holiday pay and sick pay and paternity leave and maternity leave and a pension. Could you imagine that? A pension? Yeah. Like, that's your job. You create content every day. We don't care how many people watch it or, you know, how much money you make in super chats or whatever. You get to keep that, because it's not that much. I mean, you can see how much you get in super chats on these channels, on these shows. You just scroll up and down, have a look. And I think that idea of having a group of 10 or 20 content creators who are on the left who are pretty good, not just politics, by the way, but, you know, like I say, doing something about cars, doing a car thing. Yeah, I'm going to restore cars and get loads of people to watch it. But we know that they're left wing and they will put in some progressive messages into what they do. It's worth it for some philanthropist who's got £1 million burning a hole in their pocket. Why not employ 20 people at 50 grand a year, which is a very, very decent wage for someone doing social media, and give them the security that a full-time job gives instead of this 0 hours contract that is our Faustian pact with YouTube. So we don't have to rely on getting those super chats in. We don't have to rely on, the stress of every day waking up and going, oh, I need to do a video about something. What should I do a video about? And then having to worry about all the production and the thumbnails and the graphics and the animations and whatever else you want to put in there. All like doing that by yourself. You could actually, employ someone part-time to just help out, a couple of days a week, putting the stuff out on social media, making sure that you're across all the different channels, you have a different personality on each platform, so that if they're putting out a video that you've made on Facebook, the blurb is very different to whether if they're sharing it on your LinkedIn or whatever. I mean, this is all things that we can do, but we need that funding. And at the moment, all the funding for sort of the dark arts sorry, I should say the dark arts. All the funding for that kind of stuff is dark side of the force. Even up to relatively old people are anti-Tory. Have they ever considered why women don't want to go anywhere near them, says Katrina. No. It's not their fault, Katrina. It's the women's fault. It's not their fault for being horrible. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got friends, I know people who are not particularly good looking, but they've got a partner, they've got a wife, they've got a husband, it doesn't matter. It's not even that you have to be able to sing or dance or play the guitar. Just be nice. Just be yourself. Just be a normal, nice person. Just be normal. That's most relationships. People get together because they have a chat. Do you know what I mean? But I guess there are some people who, get very, very frustrated that they feel like they're not getting anywhere sexually in the world, and they watch something like Friends, where Chandler has a different girlfriend each week, or even worse, Seinfeld, where the loser George Costanza manages to pick up every single week, and he's the loser of the group, and he's got a different beautiful woman on his arm each week. They're watching that and going, "What? Why don't I have a girlfriend?" But maybe work on yourself, lad. Maybe work on yourself. But yeah, even doing a pickup channel, Don't at me on this one. But if there was someone doing a how to pick up chicks style YouTube channel, but was charming and nice and not into negging women and worse, who talked about how to get a girlfriend by treating them with respect, and if they want to put up an ugly goddamn picture on the wall, just let them. Just go, yeah, sure. Don't fight them. Why fight them? Unless it's going to really piss you off every time you see it. If you don't care that much, just let them put the picture up. Keep everyone happy. The secrets of keeping your girlfriend. Because that's the thing about these pickup artists. I'm sure some of their techniques work for literally a one night stand, but for a long term relationship, forget about it. And just between you and me, right? As a man of the world, can I just say, you have a lot more sex in a relationship than you do when you're trying to pick up every night. Just saying. And of course, who can forget the comedy, the wit of right-wing comedy? Graham Linehan says, got a favourite. Well, he stopped being funny, didn't he? When he went all transphobic, when his wife and kids left him. Without joy, there might only be misery. Maybe without a little joy, we can fight off what makes us miserable, says Jeannie Bottle. I agree. BUFU Mike says, Kyle Kulinski has done a good job of highlighting how Joe has changed over the last 4 years after appearing in the last election with him. I do blame him quite a lot for Trump's victory this time, because I think he should have stepped aside last year. Space Karen is going to abolish the trans species child. Trans species? What? the trans species child tax credit, which doesn't exist. Oh, right, okay. I was like, what is that? I watched a video this morning by a chap called Matt Bernstein, who has hit upon a lot of these ideas, says Gallifreyan Men. Why don't you have a look at Tennessee Brando? He's an interesting guy. Get Colin Fuzz on board, lol. Looks pretty transitory. Personality is the real foundation of a decent. Looks are pretty trans. Okay, sorry, mate. Sorry, purity. I was just trying to read that. I'm like, whatever. I'm sure Harry Enfield tried. Lol. Yeah, Harry Enfield. He's very funny. But we're not short of left-wing comedians. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, we are short of people making content online that is really engaging and people really like, Mr. Beast levels of sort of mania, who have that the political bent that we kind of need right now for people talking about how good it is to be a progressive person and bigging up nice things. So, for instance, if you had a show on the military, like, people love military shows, don't they? They love learning about tanks and bullshit. I mean, some people do, right? Let them off. I mean, there's some people watching this probably love them, tanks and Spitfires and shit. Okay, great. So at the end of the video, they're going to say, listen, we're doing a charity run to Ukraine. Just by saying that, I mean, obviously in doing it as well, but just by saying that, it shows that shows to the audience that what's happening in Ukraine is out of order. So you might get a lot of right-wing people watching that channel because they want to know about explosives and shells and gunpowder and whatever, and how many people a thing can kill, killing machines on YouTube. But yeah, you're sending that message out that what Vladimir Putin has done in Ukraine is absolutely out of order. Steve S., I watched the Brando for a while, subscribed. He talks a lot of sense. Vendetta, I only found Brando the other day along with Texas Paul. Found. So I got what you meant. So yeah, if you've got any other suggestions of people to sort of check out online, let us know. I just wish there was like I say, a sort of a foundation that would support young and upcoming YouTubers and TikTokers and give them the security that comes with a full-time job. I think that's really, really important, because as things stand, and I don't want to upset any of my friends by saying this, but there are a few people who, who do this kind of thing, and they're really good at it, and I love them, and they're friends of mine. However, they come from money. And it's not that I don't think they should be putting the stuff out there. I don't think social media is different from traditional media. I do really, really object to the fact that so many people in the traditional media come from wealth, come from private education, come from a bit of wodge, and they can afford to not get paid and live in London for 5 years because bank and mum and dad will sort them out. The rest of us aren't like that. But there's a finite number of jobs in old school media. On social media, there is no finite number. It's not a zero-sum game on here. Whoever wants to can make a channel, and I don't want all of this kind of stuff coming from, and forgive me for using this term about people that I might know and respect, but nepo babies. Like, at the moment, you'll turn on the TV, and 9 out of 10 people you'll see on TV will be nepo babies. There'll be people who were born rich, and that's why they're on TV, because they could work for free for years, whereas the rest of us can't work for free for years. And yeah, this is why, if you name me one actor who went to a comprehensive school, I can probably name you about 50 who went to a private school. And when I say actor, I don't mean someone, with a bit part in a soap opera. I'm talking about, people in films and stuff in this country. I'm going to drink from my really big bottle now. I hope it doesn't freak you out. There we go. See, what you want to do, you want to put some ice in it. Well, you don't put ice in it, obviously, but how did you fit that big bit of ice in there, Graham? Magic. You put it in the freezer and then bring it out in the morning. How comfortable is the hammock? Did you make it, Graham? I did not make this hammock. No, I'm not that skilled. Bought it in town for about, I don't know, $10 or something. It's great. I love hammocks. I really, really love hammocks. I don't want to go off on a mad tangent about my love of hammocks, but I really like hammocks. Really disappointed to see Chin from Chin and Chew's channel is married to someone who's obviously rich, and she has photos of her fox hunting party on Facebook. Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the things that a lot of us YouTubers and TikTokers and things, we try just not to be like disappointing, but we get messages every day. You know, I get messages every day. I thought you were better than this. And I'm like, oh no, I've disappointed a stranger. I mean, if it was my mum saying that, I might get a bit upset, but like, I thought you were better than this. I'm like, really? Why? Never said I was a saint. Anyway, watch One Man Every Country on TED Talks, The Young Graham. Oh, thanks very much, Sarah. That was cool. Did you get down at the Hammock District on 3rd? Yes, the Hammock District on 3rd. Hey, and you're not even wrong. It's literally the place where you get the hammocks is on Calais 3. Calais 3 in town, which is really fun. Hello, Graham. Talking to my mum. Here's my mum. Hi, mum. How you doing? I hope you're not disappointed. I hope you're not thinking, oh, Graham, I thought you were better than this. But yeah, so we were talking this morning about how humor is important, not just for our morale, but also for this other side of it, which is that they don't care if you call them fascists, because they are. They don't care if you say that they are, you know, scumbags, deplorables, call them names, whatever. They don't care. They really don't care. But what they do not like, because they're bullies, they do not like being laughed at. They do not like people making jokes about them. And there's an argument that Trump started this horrific odyssey of disgusting depravity in politics, meddling in politics. He literally started this when they had the White House Correspondents' Dinner, I think in 2011, and Barack Obama stood up and made a load of jokes about Donald Trump. And Donald Trump was absolutely seething about it. However, in Barack Obama's defense, Donald Trump had been leading the racist birther movement, which said that Obama couldn't be president because he wasn't born in the United States, because he was black. And his dad was from Kenya. So how could he be? How could he be a real American? How could he be an African American? How could he be a European American, an Irish American? How could you be an Italian American? How could you be? I don't know. You look good with long hair. I know I did. Thank you, Sarah, for reminding me. Hair today, gone tomorrow. Well, at least I made the most of it while I had it. You know, if I wasted it with a crew cut, then I'd be quite upset now. But I never wasted it. Do you know what I mean? I made sure that I made the most of it while I had it. You look good with long hair. Oh, thank you. And what I should have done is cut it and then attached it to the edge of my hat here, right around the edge of my hat. And then when I put it on my head, it would look like I've got curls coming. Ginger curls. Obama just did a couple of digs on the sides of things. Yeah, he did. Oh, Ivan, thank you very much for the super chat. First super chat of the morning. Woo! I don't want to make any money on here. I just want to be recognized and for my content and messages to be spread. I'm getting nowhere with my channel, and it's affecting my self-esteem and self-worth. Mate, I'm sorry to hear that. If it is affecting you in that way, my advice would be maybe to just think of it like this is a message just going out to a select group of people rather than trying to build up a massive audience. Like, this channel's got 41,000 subscribers. It's actually gone down. It's under 41,000 now. Since the election, we've lost a couple of hundred subscribers. We were taking subscribers on every month. We were taking on like 1,000 subscribers, and since the general election in this country, the number of subscribers has dropped off as people don't care about politics so much, and I find that a little bit dispiriting. But at the same time, like, if we all sort of help each other out and build up our own little community amongst ourselves, I don't know if it matters. What if your intention with your channel is to get Mr. Beast numbers of viewers, then it's nigh on impossible, and it's not like something where you can say this works or this works. Something that works for one channel won't work for another channel. Yeah, we can have a chat about it. Obviously, you've got me on WhatsApp, and if you can grab me, I'll give some pointers to you if you want to continue with it. But look at this. There's 126 people watching this right now, which isn't very many for YouTube, obviously. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth sitting here every morning when I should really be helping Ishmael. Ishmael's been up for 2 hours already. He's making a wall. He's making a wall. I need to go and help Ishmael make a wall. You know, I think it's important to keep making content and keep having this conversation. For possibly the reverse reason, it's not because I don't, you know, I want riches and power and glory, but more this is for my mental health, because I want to know there's people out there who think the same way I do and agree with me that the world is going to hell in a handcart, and discussing ways and things we can do about it. And I like it when you tell me stuff. I like it when people in the chat inform me about things. No one likes to be corrected. Let's make that very clear. When I used to have on my Tinder profile, my favourite pastime is correcting people. No one ever swiped right on me. Like, why would they? That wasn't what it was on my Tinder profile. That was a little joke. I love to correct people. Put it on your business card, see how many deals you get. But yeah, I think that yeah, having these discussions each morning really helps me, because it allows me to know that I'm not alone in this. And obviously, you don't want every conversation that you have with your friends and family to be about politics, because they'll get pissed off at you very quickly, I imagine. So the idea that we could just sit off and chew the fat and talk about politics each morning, that's good for me. That's good for me. Also, there's a point to be made about picking your platform. Like, some other platforms might not work as well. So some people are brilliant at LinkedIn. I don't understand LinkedIn. It might as well be in Chinese to me, because I'm not that world, you know. And then there's people who have Substack, where the people pay to read their writing. And for people who are not extroverted like myself, I think that might be a good channel to use to get stuff out there, because people will subscribe to read your, what you've got to write about stuff. And there are people on Substack who have like 600,000 subscribers, and they're all paying £1. Do you ever, I mean, yes, please. Yes, please. I can't stand LinkedIn, says Katrina. Well, yeah, it's like picking a platform. Well, it's like, I always think about this when I'm talking about stories. I think that stories work in certain different mediums that don't work in others. It's not mutually exclusive. It's not like if something works as a book, it cannot work as a film or a TV show or whatever. But there are certain stories where, as a film, like Lost would have been shit. It had to be a TV show. It just had to be. And I'm glad that Lost was made. I'm glad that it was an original idea for a TV show for a change. It wasn't based on a book or based on a comic or based on something else. And so, I really love that show, which started 20 years ago. Oh, do you know what? It started 20 years ago today. House with Hugh Laurie. That was 20 years ago today that started. Wow, time flies. Another great series. Wasn't particularly based, I don't think, on any book or anything else. But yeah, when I think of a story that I want to tell, sometimes I think this would work as a short film. Sometimes I think this would work as a TV series. Sometimes I think it would work as a piece of theatre. And it's a different platform. Do you know what I mean? Like, some of my script ideas or scripts that I've written for feature films might work as a novel. But I've tried to write one of them as a novel, and it just didn't work for me. I don't really have that bent. I don't know why. I just find it a lot easier to write scripts. I really like dialogue. I really like writing conversations, like real conversations that people actually have. I find that I do a lot of like active listening when people are talking about stuff and picking up things like the back and forth and the cadence and all that kind of stuff. And I'm particularly interested in that. I'm not so interested in describing shit to the nth detail, a la Charles Dickens, who was paid by the word, by the way. That's why if you read a Dickens book, he goes into meticulous detail about the mahogany sideboards. In reality, I don't like doing that. I'm not very good at description. I think this might be something to do maybe with my ADHD, in that I find it very difficult to describe people. I can describe people's personalities, but how they look and how that differentiates them from other people, I'm really not good at it. Unless they've got incredibly like noticeable features, like Adrian Brody or something. I would find it difficult to just describe someone. So if someone said to me, describe Brad Pitt as opposed to Chris Pratt, I'd be like, they've got faces. Whereas other people would be able to describe it really well. So my advice there would be like, play to your strengths and find the right platform. And find something that you're comfortable doing. There you go. Anyway, House is great. Micro story I tell is Laurie was on Jonathan Wass, and I said, "Oh my God, he's the American actor with the best English accent." My mate looked at me and said, "That's Hugh Laurie, as in Frying Laurie. He is an English actor with the best American accent." Well, yeah, there was an absolute spate of British actors playing Americans. The TV show The Americans, about the Russian spies in the 1980s living in America, the guy's like from Wales. He's a British actor. He's a British actor playing a show, and it's called The Americans. Vendetta. That's a reply. One day I will write novels again. One day my mental well-being just isn't there yet. Lost was great until they left things like the giant statue foot unexplained, and the show just ended. Well, no, they didn't. They did explain that there was a statue there. There was a statue when the Spanish turned up in 400 years ago, or whenever it was. There was a statue, and it just got destroyed by an earthquake, didn't it? I don't know. But yeah, would like to do more with that. Every creator is scrambling these days. Yes, Donkey, you are right about that. It is particularly difficult, the environment at the moment. I mean, one of the things I was thinking, like, I want to talk about how I don't want to talk about politics. I want to talk about travel. I want to talk about world history and geography and stuff. But one of the things that I thought about with the Trump bullshit that we're going to have to deal with now is, oh well, at least it gives something for us to make jokes about. Have you heard what he's done? He's made someone head of medicine. He doesn't believe in medicine. He doesn't believe in vaccines. He doesn't believe that, you should treat people with, like, I don't know, medicine. He thinks you should treat them with, I don't know, bear corpses, brain worms. I don't know. He's put someone in charge of justice who doesn't believe in justice. He's put someone in charge of defense who basically working for Vladimir Putin. Doesn't believe in defense. It's like making me the Archbishop of Canterbury and me going, but I don't believe in God. I'm like, yeah, but you'll make a great Archbishop of Canterbury. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I won't. I don't believe in God. That's sort of like the actual. It's one of the things that I think is required for the job. Don't you? Don't you think that just you should think that? Has he done his education pick yet? Is it Marjorie Taylor Greene? We were making jokes about that, but it probably will be. Let's put someone in charge of education who doesn't believe in education. We're going to stop all this woke nonsense in schools, because that's the big problem in schools. It's the woke nonsense. Not the fact that the kids aren't getting enough nutrients each day, and the size of 5-year-olds in America is decreasing because of the food they're eating, which isn't as nutrient rich as it should be. Ditto the UK. Yeah, maybe we should do something about that. But he's going to get, they're going to get rid of the fluoride in the water in America as well, just like in Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Maybe you should do a show called How maybe we should do a show that says how I learned to stop worrying and love the dawn. No, we're not doing that. Okay, assigning 2 people rather than 1 as head of government efficiency is meme-worthy. Oh yeah, so that's going to be Elon Musk, and because he does a Bitcoin thing rip-off called Dogecoin, Doge, and he does this. It's got a little Japanese dog cartoon, and it's called Dogecoin, and the Department of Government Efficiency, the acronym is Doge, because it's really funny, because it's all just a gain to these people. It's all just a gain to these fuckers. Woman bleeds out in the parking lot because she's not allowed to have an abortion, and she's having a miscarriage. Yeah, she dies. It's all a gain to them. They just laugh and joke, pat each other on the back. Job well done. Yeah, we killed another one. We took another one out. We made someone suffer when they didn't need to suffer. We took a first world country and made it a third world country because we wanted just to steal everything. Our greed was just unsurpassed. We just wanted to have a good time by ensuring everyone else has a bad time. Yeah, indeed. The upside is with the full Monty win in the US, then all the crazy can come out before the people who voted for one side of the dice they liked. But all the other, oh God, why does it move? Don't move when I don't want you to. But all the other sides, most voters did not know of. I don't agree with that donkey. I think that people just don't care. We've seen that with Brexit. We told them it was going to be a disaster. We told them it was going to be an economic nightmare. We told them that the price of beer was going to double. It did. In fact, it went up more than double. We said that energy prices were going to go up. We said that it was going to be more difficult to import, more difficult to go on holiday, more difficult to retire in the EU. And yeah, they've all just said, yeah, all blamed it on other stuff. Okay, so a lot of the stuff that is the fault of Brexit has been blamed on COVID, because that gives them an out. Because they're like, well, I didn't vote for COVID. May have voted for Brexit, but I didn't vote for COVID. So whatever shit Trump pulls, people won't blame Trump for it. The people who voted for him won't blame him for it. The people who didn't vote for him will absolutely blame him for it, because it'll be his fault. But people who voted for him will make excuses like he is their firstborn son, and they need to make excuses for him no matter how much fucked up shit he does. Ivan, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. It's someone who moans about lockdowns but is also anti-vax. Without the vaccines, the lockdown moans would have been even longer. Yeah, Ivan, I couldn't agree more, mate. It's absolutely mad. And thank you very much for the super chat. Don't worry, RFK won't last 5 minutes if he tries to take away McDonald's Happy Meals. I don't think he's going to take away McDonald's Happy Meals. I think he's going to make people get a prescription for them for children. So their teeth rot away while they get smallpox and polio and measles, mumps and rubella. It feels like the Brexit vote with all the Trump voters suddenly regretting their vote. Lee, I don't think they are, mate. Realistically, and I know you're going to think, oh, Graham, you're talking bollocks here, but the number of actual real people I met who really genuinely regretted their Brexit vote, I could count on one hand. There were some bullshit artists who would say, I voted to remain, but after all the hell that the EU's put us through, I would vote to Brexit now. And you're like, I'll just have a look at your old tweets, right? Just have a look at your old Facebook posts. Oh, no, you voted to leave, didn't you? Because you were saying at the time, let's all vote to leave. Oh, but I voted to remain. You're fucking liars. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be much regret. I don't think there has been as much regret as people thought there would be. And I'm using that as my reason, my basis for saying I don't think there's going to be much regret for people who voted for Trump, because they will make excuses. People do. People don't like to be wrong. People don't like to be corrected. They don't like to be wrong. They don't like to be proved wrong. They don't like someone to go, ha ha, told you so. The three most beautiful words in the English language. I told you so. Oh, that's 4. Anyway, I bet in a few years, when the full pain from voting Trump, you won't find a single person who voted Trump. I disagree, Sarah, respectfully, but I do disagree. I think the more horrible things he does, the more they're going to love him. The more horrible things he does to them, the more they're going to love him. And they're going to be like, oh, man, I may have lost my entire family to easily preventable diseases, but, at least he did those things he said he was going to do, like building a wall against Mexico. Seems to have been forgotten now. Where's the wall gone, Donny? You said you were going to build a wall. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be too many people who regret it, unfortunately, because of stupid people. You got to be stupid to vote for Trump in the first place. So I think that, like, yeah, that negates the whole regret thing. You got to be quite smart to be able to take a step back and go, yeah, I fucked up there. People's impressions of Trump's first term are distorted by a pandemic. I don't think he'll get that lucky again. Oh, there'll be disasters. Of course, there'll be disasters, and probably cause many of them. This is the guy who wanted to nuke and set off a nuclear bomb in the middle of a hurricane that was coming across into his own country. I mean, the guy's not all there. There was a Muslim support Trump campaign group upset about the appointments Trump is making. I'm just thinking, what do you expect? Well, I mean, anyone who doesn't vote for Kamala because of Gaza, like, is fucking bonkers. Like, how thick do you need to be to do that? You do realize that Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump are like this, and Benjamin Netanyahu arguably has been doing what he's been doing in Gaza in order to get Trump elected, because that's going to keep the international community off Israel's back for the next 4 years, so he can do what he wants. And what he wants to do is raise Gaza to the ground and massacre everybody there. That's what he wants to do. And now there's going to be no one even trying to stop him from doing that. So anyone who voted for Trump or didn't vote for Kamala Harris and stayed at home on the grounds that, you know, they didn't like what the Democrats were saying about Gaza, mate, you fucking idiot. Seriously, I won't break bread with you because I think you're too stupid. You might, I don't know, set fire to the table. There were Jewish Nazis even. Well, yeah, not many of them. They do all drink a lot of moonshine. I was going to say milkshake then. Trump is mega Thatcher. He'll be loved by some no matter what. Yeah, Donkey, you're right. Absolutely. No, same with Boris Johnson. People still like Boris Johnson. They won't buy his book, but, you know, they still like him. Also, Yodel is shit. Yes. So are every. Especially in No Lies, we're pleased British UK. RFK's only saving grace is US food standards. Okay, driven by conspiracies, but he could go after Mackie D's. He's not going to go after. He's not going after Mackie D's. He's not. Mate, you know, why would he? It makes millions for America around the world. Why would he go after Mackie D's? After Mackie D's, he's going to go after things that. So he essentially works for Big Pharma. Okay, he is just a shill for Big Pharma, and what Big Pharma wants is for people to get ill. So actually, perversely, it is in Big Pharma's interest for people not to vaccinate their children, because then their children will get ill and get things like measles, which is the reason why Kat, my partner, is deaf, is because of measles. She got measles when she was 4 years old, and now she's deaf as a consequence, right? She's profoundly, profoundly deaf. So she has to spend money on things like hearing aids. The hearing aids she's got at the moment cost £3,000. Okay, these are specialist hearing aids. She can't do her job without those aids. The aids that she can get through the NHS merely turn the sound up. They don't work on different frequencies to maximize those particular frequencies while blocking out other frequencies, because of the type of deafness that she has isn't one where all sound is muted. It is where some sound is muted. So, you know, when you're on your digital TV, right, and the signal's not quite there, and you get that horrible noise. Yeah, they don't do it on modern TVs, but when digital first came out and you plugged it into, you know, you plugged your digital box in, you would get this most horrific noise, and that's a lot of the stuff that she can hear, because she's only hearing certain frequencies of the natural frequencies of life. And yeah, she's had to spend that money. That money has gone to a big pharmaceutical company that makes hearing aids, you know, makes medical devices. So it is in the pharmaceutical industry's interest for people not to get vaccinated. She couldn't get vaccinated. It wasn't a choice by her parents. She couldn't get vaccinated. She relied on herd immunity. And unfortunately, there's enough dickheads out there who didn't immunize their children. And a lot of children who get measles are fine. But some of them are not. And some of them fucking die. All right? They die. We should have got rid of measles 10 years ago, like we got rid of smallpox in the 1970s. We got rid of it. We eradicated smallpox from the face of the planet. There's a couple of small samples left somewhere in a research lab in Berkeley or something. But apart from that, that's it. That's it. It's gone. But if pharmaceutical companies make it so kids get ill, kids get, are dying of, previously viruses that didn't exist so much because we have vaccinations against them, they make an absolute fortune, because how much money would you pay to save your child's life? How much money? Think about it for a minute. Why would they want to sell you a generic vaccine that they make like $5 profit on per person, like if that? They make fuck all on vaccines, when they could have, one child who over $1 million is spent on. And that $1 million goes to the pharmaceutical companies, and they're like, "Woo, let's buy an even bigger yacht. Let's do even more cocaine. Face in the fucking mountain of cocaine." Like Scarface, mountain of cocaine on the pharmaceutical exec's office desk. Why would they not want that? These people who, the people who work for Big Pharma, the scientists who are doing the research are great. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't have a problem with them. It's the people like that Martin Schlosger, whatever his fucking name was, who were absolute bandits who take out patents on medicines and then charge through the nose for them because they know people are going to pay them because they want to stay alive. They want to stay alive. So, yeah, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is almost certainly being paid by the companies, by the pharma companies, to keep us unhealthy, to keep us needing medicine every day, keep us needing procedures. Shkreli, Shkreli, yeah, that one, Martin Shkreli. That's the type of person who is running these companies, who's sitting there going, you know what, let's not vaccinate the kids, and then we'll make loads of money out of them. For the rest of their lives, they will need medical intervention. They will need medical devices. They will need medicine. So long as they catch that potentially fatal childhood disease, that's good for us. And that's why you see this movement, this anti-vax movement, is actually behind the scenes being pushed by the pharmaceutical companies, because they know it's a great way to sell pharmaceuticals. Don't fall for it. In the same way that the anti-electric car bullshit that you constantly see online is fed by the oil industry, because they've got a vested interest in us not driving electric cars. That's why they got rid of the electric car companies that existed in the 1920s. That's why they got rid of electric trolley cars, the street cars that were running through LA back in the 1950s. They got rid of them. Why? Because they didn't run on fucking gas. They didn't run on fuel. They didn't run on gasoline. They didn't run on, on fossil fuels. And this is how they made all their money, through fossil fuels. Why would they want the competition? Buy the competition and then destroy it. Firestone Tires was involved in that as well, because these trolley cars didn't run on tires. So they bought this, these rails and these things that ran on the rails, and they went, right, we'll get rid of these. So everyone needs to buy our tires. Hey! You don't have to look too far to see a conspiracy that makes perfect sense to anyone who's got half a brain. We're not talking about man not really landing on the moon, or Princess Diana being assassinated, or any of that bullshit. We're talking about, what do these people like? Money. Okay, here's a way to make more money. All right, are they doing it? Probably. That's a blackbird. Makes the weirdest noise. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear that? Ivan, thank you very much for Ivan, you're so generous this morning. Ivan's the only one who's given a super chat. Thank you very much, Ivan. My hearing is hypersensitive, meaning I hear too much. It's a major part of my sensory overload. It's horrendous to live with. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. And as I get older, I'm becoming more like that. That's why I always have my little earplugs with me wherever I go now, in case I am feeling like it's too much. I suggest you do the same. I'm sure you probably do anyway. But yeah, I completely get that. Joe Rogaine won't touch this conspiracy. Of course not. It sounds fantastic. People will get upset about things, and it's important not to judge and be there for people who need more pampering than plummeting, in my humble opinion. Yeah, probably. Birds from Paradise. I can hear it. It makes the maddest noise. And then it shuffles its feathers around and makes it sort of blows through its feathers. I don't know how it. It's the maddest noise, isn't it? It sounds like it's flapping its wings. Sarah says, I would skin, so I would give a souvenir. Don't worry about it, Sarah. Don't worry about it. Don't know quite. Pork with something. What? What's people having random conversations in the chat? No, it's fine. It's fine. I have a friend who has super smell, makes her sick at times. Does she have a super smell, or does she have like very acute sense of smell? I used to have a quite acute sense of smell until I got COVID. Oh my god, shit! And then I lost my sense of smell. It's the weirdest thing. The bird sounds like a droid or something. It does. R2 Disco. How you doing, R2? He's having fun. Anyway, listen, I'm going to get going because I've been prattling on for an hour now. But yeah, just in general, just want to say, keep up your spirits, keep up your sense of humour, dark or otherwise, and keep laughing at them. Keep laughing at these dickheads and everything they do, because they can't do anything about that. You know, they Farage visits his constituency. Breaking news, says Paul. Oh my God. Ivan, thank you very much. Like in the US, it's the same with the UK and the Corbynistas. They would have been prepared for the Tories to stay in power. Yeah, Ivan, thank you very much for the super chat and very good point. Bye, everyone. Thanks for the stream. Great. Thanks very much, Hayon. My dog has no nose. How does it smell? Bad. Great Nazi joke. From Monty Python. Funniest joke ever. Right. I did that bit about like they've translated it into German and someone translated too many words and ended up in a coma. Laughing is best, and you good people keep me sane. Yes, exactly, Plum. You help keep me sane as well. So it's a two-way street. So thank you very much for joining us and doing that. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow morning for me. Tomorrow afternoon for you at 1 o'clock. I'll be in Bogus Town, so I might be able to broadcast from my laptop. So I'll be able to have your messages come up. Messages, I don't know where your messages are. Messages come up on the screen. And also maybe a little jungle animation to get started. But I can't do that on the island because I have to run it off my phone. And it doesn't allow you to say, set this as the intro animation, set this as the outro. And then you press play and it does it. And then it says you're live. And I don't know why that isn't set up like that, but it's just not. Although there is a thing now where you can go live with another channel. So I'm going to try that maybe with Aid later in the week. And until then, I'll say thank you so much for watching. If you want to donate a bag of soil or two to Jinja Island, head over to our GoFundMe, which is just in the description, I'm sure. In the meantime, thank you very much for the chat. Thanks for the super chats. Give us a like on the way out. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Takes a couple of seconds.